YouTube, what's going on? We're back with some more of the First Descendant. We got Bunny out, rocking our high voltage build. Go through it all in detail here for you guys today. All time stamped in this video here for you guys, so you can flip flop to whatever you need, wherever you need it. So, end this all off with a Forbidden Sanctuary showcase. Again, these are just easy runs with this build. It's a great alternate build for anything else that you got for Bunny. If you haven't checked out the high voltage build, I do recommend it. It'll take care of all that high level content. The fourth ability, her basically her Kamehameha wave, is a great way to take care of those beefy red bar bosses to end off some of those mission runs. But again, yeah, great build. Bunny's an awesome descendant for mobbing. You guys are appreciating the content. You guys are liking the videos. Please feel free to turn on those notifications, sub to the channel, drop a like. Build right off the hop. I like to use the Singularity Reactor. Again, when we're using the her abilities, especially the one that's dealing the most damage, which is the lightning emission tied into the high voltage. With it is a singular, so this is up the whole time, so I spec'd into singular. There is some fusion power in there as well to prop up our maximum power, our fourth ability, but that's why I run the Singularity Reactor, so that we're constantly getting the most damage out of our number 3 ability. I run this with a 4-piece Slayer set. Options for this: you can run this with a 2-piece Supernova, 2-piece Enlightened Mage. Because the skill cost is a tough pill to swallow. If you were looking for some more survivability, you do take a skill power, kind of a hit, not running the Slayer set, because again it nets you the 26.1% skill power with it. So it's it's all about those min-maxings and what you can do out of it, or what you're feeling is the most comfortable. Yeah, so the Slayer set's just going to get you more power, but you do take that skill cost deduction, and it does hurt your overall max HP. You swap over to any other 2-piece set or 4-piece set, you get way more survivability out of the HP. The Slayer set just seems to suck the life right out of you, literally. But you try to couple that or take as much advantage if you can in other situations. And in this case, we use that with our cores. As you can see, there's max HP rolled with max defense, and I like that to be rolled consistently throughout the build. When it comes to the rolls on it, again, any type of elemental resistance with MP recovery or HP recovery is king. Again, I think the best mod or the best roll that you can get on that is the MP recovery in combat out of your sensor. And then again, you're just trying to prop up your MP. Some shield survivability. Toxic would be really nice, running the Forbidden Sanctuary run. So that's the external components in the reactor I use. For the Arche tuning in this run, I've been using the mutant build. I've been really liking it, just to take advantage, obviously, of the two mutant cell slots that I have here. So I've got electric, Arche efficiency here for extra skill power, and we've got the electric cohesion up top, again for additional skill powers. Running this one through. This is my skill tree. Again, I like it because again you get a little bit more, especially with the Slayer set, you get a little bit of that survivability coming down the bottom here. Obviously we want our skill cost, MP recovery out of combat is kind of nice. It was our way around to the top there. Anything to do with skill power as well, super beneficial. When it comes to my inversion reinforcement for the skill build, I like running it with the emergency antibody generation. Again, I'm getting hit, all my attribute resistance goes up. I like the I think this one's kind of a mandatory one, especially with with Bunny or any MP skill descent, unless you're doing something some type of other content. Is the selective neurostimulation. Again, every 45 seconds you're granted a percentage chance of regaining a set amount of MP. I love this node right here. And then the focus boost. Again, we want to keep our skill cost down. You don't have to worry about running out of MP or mana in the in the run that you're trying to do. So keeping the skill cost down is great. Again, we're running it with our fellow. Again, we want to run this with our MP fellow, and again he's generating MP every 45 seconds, and again it's a beautiful nice synergy with the selective neurostimulation. Every 45 seconds we're getting MP, so every 45 seconds we're getting a nice chunk of MP regen just to keep us afloat. If our skill cost, isn't doing enough of the work for us. So this is my high voltage build. So there's nothing too crazy about this build. Again, the only survivability that we have really in this to prop up our the hit points that we're taking the hit on. Again, I said on that external component with the Slayer set is the Battle of Stamina. And what's nice with this Battle of Stamina is you get the duration, because what's most important is obviously being able to loop your lightning emission. So we got the cooldown at 20.7 with the duration at 21.8. So that's how we're able to do that, and that allowed me to take advantage of my particular singular reactor with the electric skill power boost ratio and the skill cost. Again, skill cost is really important within the build, so just so you're able to keep the cost down of the mana that you're expending and the electricity that you want to do if you're trying to use your fourth ability, especially on the end boss. That's how it's all done. So not too sure if I would swap anything out too much on that. It's a pretty good roll on the reactor, but that's why the reactor is rolling with the electric skill power boost ratio and the skill cost, only because we were able to get the duration on there. If not, it would have to be a skill cooldown, skill cost, something like that to help keep that loop on for the lightning emission. So just make sure you're running that loop. However you get there, it's really up to you, but that's why I'm running the Battle of Stamina. I like it with a little bit of that HP bump, and that duration puts me over the the requirement that I needed to be able to run the reactor that I'm running with just a little bit of skill cost and some additional electric skill power boost ratio. So that's kind of like the gains or things that have just recently happened to kind of help this build out a little bit. The Ancestor module, again, this is huge. As you can see, I've picked up a few of them, and yeah, it's hard to get the rolls that you need with them. But I got this nice one that runs the singular modifier and the singular skill power boost ratio, again, which is nice. We want our lightning emission to hit really hard. It's a singular skill, and again, we're getting the increased range and damage from our lightning emission with the high voltage transcendent module equipped. So I really like that. I run this with the gap in time as the trigger module. Again, it takes advantage of our throw bomb, which we are kind of using with our additional fusion and cooldown. This is really nice in between the run, just to get that little bit of an extra hit on the enemies. And we're taking advantage of that also with the lightning emission. Yeah, that seems to be the best one for the high voltage run. And again, the more cooldown you can generate out of this, the more skill power you get. We're not really spec'd into a whole bunch of skill cooldown, but it does help with at least the power skill bump that you can get within that range of 35% at the max base cooldown rate. Yep, so that's the trigger module. Ancestor module is a little bit of survivability, and again, we just want to stack into as much power as we can. So the power module is again power increase, spear and shield. Those are our two right off the hop. Then we got our focus on singular again to help with a little bit of the skill cooldown to keep the loop going. Specking into the skill, the singular power modifier. I like running Decimator. You could run this with the electric Cynthium if you wanted to for additional skill power. I haven't really spec'd to see which one would actually be better to run, but again, when you're defeating enemies with Decimator inflicted with debuffs, again, the electric skill is a debuff. You get the skill power modifier plus 5% per defeated enemy for 10 seconds, up to 10 stacks. So I feel like that's I really just like Decimator. I like running it on a few Descendants. That's what I use within this build. Skill expansion, again, we want some of the range because we are doing a little bit of spider bunnying out there. So the range does help, especially when we're up in the air. Making sure we're not taking some hits from those toxic bombs. Got our singular amplification. Enough said, more singular power. Electric amplification, just raw electric skill power, and some strong mentality to keep our skill cost down. Again, just to help us being able to refresh and run the skills without having to worry about running out of mana. The last module is kind of your standard. I use the mid-air maneuvering so I can grapple. Again, with Bunny, it's huge just so you can grapple in mid-air, keep it going, cool down, extra module capacity increase. That's how you get 85. When it comes to weapon, as you can see, I only have one weapon equipped. I like to run it with the Ancestor's Devotion that I've got. The reason why I do that is, again, I've got the 2 sprint speeds on there with the grappling hook when it comes to the weapon coring. And again, with Bunny, it doesn't really matter what you're running. We're not running a crit build, so we don't need the blue beetle. I just like running the one weapon so I don't accidentally swap over to another weapon when I'm running these with Bunny. She only needs the weapon for exactly that, the speed and the grappling, so we're able to take advantage of the I was really just cored it for the speeds and the grappling hook, just so I could use it with descendants that require you know, to be up in the air. I feel like it helps Bunny a lot, and I'm sure you'll see it in the showcase as to why I like running it. Nothing special to it. Bunny doesn't use a weapon. Again, it's just for the speed and the grappling hook charge time. So that's the build in as a whole. I hope it helps.